Hello, everyone. This is Sheri Flasch with the Esthetician Connection. I hope you are doing well. I am really excited today because we are lucky enough to have Pooja Jahari with 7eMyolift with us today to talk about all things microcurrent and new things microcurrent and things you can do with microcurrent. So this is one you definitely want to see. So welcome, Pooja. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much, Sheri. I'm super excited as well.
Well, good. We have a bunch to cover. So, because I know people are interested in learning about everything you guys have and what's new, because I'm really excited to hear what's new. The first thing I want to jump into, and you have multiple devices, and I think that's important for estheticians to know, is that 7E has everything from home care microcurrent to starter microcurrent to professional microcurrent to like medical grade type of microcurrent. You have the whole gamut. So estheticians can start where they want, they can graduate to other levels, your clients can have different services. So I think that's important. So let's really briefly talk about just the first couple units that you have, like what they are. And then I want to feature and talk a little bit more in depth about the MyoLift 600, which is one of the most popular ones with the estheticians that we work with. I mean, they love all of them, but this really seems to be a popular one. So the first unit you have is called the QT, and that's a home care device,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, absolutely. MyoLift QT is home care because it is single hand use. People can easily take home and do it on themselves. And it is a really good thing to do in between their professional treatments because it keeps their ATP up and the juice constantly up. So it's like a good maintenance program for home use.
And that is, that device is ideal for estheticians to be retailing in their practice, because when clients are getting microcurrent services, they want to maintain. They come in, they get these great results, and they want to maintain them. So the QT is perfect for that. And then the next device that you have, which is kind of an intro device, it's the MyoLift Mini,
Yeah.
which is one step before the MyoLift 600. So let's talk about those two really quick and the differences. So I am holding up the MyoLift 600, which is the most popular one with the estheticians on our platform. And Pooja is holding up the MyoLift Mini. So let's talk a little bit about the differences between them, other than the beautiful purple color that you know I love so much. But tell us the main difference between these two devices.
So these two devices are very similar in functionality in the sense that they both have two waveforms. One is to lengthen the muscles, the other one is to shorten the muscles and tighten and tone. But MyoLift 600 goes all the way up to 600 microamps. This one is only 400 microamps. This is really a good starting point. As you can imagine, when somebody is working out, like going to the gym, they start with lower levels, and this is more on the lower level of intensity, but eventually it plateaus. There is a before and after picture that you will see, which is amazing, and we can show it here. But if there is more intensity levels, if there is more MyoLift 600 kind of 600 microamps, then you can really shorten the amount of treatments needed to get those results. You can even shorten the time that you spend on the skin when you are doing the facial treatments, because now you are able to amp it up. If you have constantly clients that keep coming up for an anti-aging regimen with you, then you can work with them on the lower intensity level and build it up to 600 microamps, which is really great because then it gives you leverage to work on those muscles, get them tightened and toned. And then you're also working on their relaxation as well. So that's really helpful.
And they can, estheticians can start with the 600. You don't have to start with the mini. You can just work on
That's right.
lower intensity levels. Yeah. So if you're thinking about, do I get the mini because I'm just starting, you can still get the 600 to get started. You can just work on lower amps while you're working on the 600.
Totally, because most of the professionals that are already, starting their clients, they love to work with professional only device. MyLift Mini is still, some of the home use. A lot of students beauty schools retail it to students if they're starting up, and if you're on a budget. But MyoLift 600 is definitely a go-to device for most of the professionals because it gives them enough amperage to work with. It has very simple two waveforms to work and use the movements. And MyoLift 600 can get attachment of all of our accessories. So they can work with the gloves, the conductive gloves, which are really great. And you can do a microcurrent massage with it. You can use it with the eye mask, lip mask, forehead mask, and all of those. So it's really a great way of getting multiple ways to deliver the microcurrent. And gloves are really popular as well because they are silver lined and they are antimicrobial, and it is helping to oxygenate, but it's very intuitive. You can use your fingers with it. But the most important thing is we just came up with
I'm excited.
probes.
Let me see. I'm so excited to see these. Okay, so what they're going to do with these, they're also going to be able to attach them to their, let's say they've got the 600. They're going to be able to attach them through the bottom of it, okay, which is this way. And when they have, there you go. So the probes also plug in like that. So these, they would take their probes off and they would plug in to the Q-tip or the metal tipped with the Q-tip on it. Perfect. Now let's talk a little bit about these because I've seen these before in like multiple prongs or different styles. I want to learn all about yours. I want to know how they can implement this into their treatments. And as you just said, they can only add this to the 600, not the mini. Am I correct?
Well, the attachment works for both.
Okay, good.
Yes. The attachment works for both mini as well as 600,
Okay.
but these are really great because they are really nicely designed. They have a conductive shaft internally, and then they can use these Q-tips, which are just regular cotton tips. They can cut it out, and then they can insert it easily, and then it conducts. The way it works is these cotton tips need to be dipped into either water or our replenish hyaluronic spritzer.
We were talking about this earlier. This is one of my favorite products. I think so many people don't even know that you have this, and this works wonders with all of your treatments. So tell them a little bit about how this works with the Q-tips.
So you can put a little bit in a solution or a bowl, and then you can dip these and hydrate them really well. Our spritzer is very clean and it is mostly hyaluronic acid. So it's very hydrating. And when you dip these and then you start working with it, you can actually work and isolating the muscles. My skin, for example, is very thin. Like I don't have a lot of muscle mass or tissues or fat tissue around. So it is sometimes challenging to grab the muscles, but with the cotton tips, I can really easily do that. It is also helpful because if you don't want to spend a lot of gel, but if you want to just work with water, it can be then easily cleaned because now you can just throw these, and between clients, it's much faster.
Gotcha.
So those are some of the benefits that a lot of people can see using these cotton tip probes. Once
And they can do the full treatment with that. Am I correct?
Full treatment with it.
You don't have to go back and forth. You can use these probes as the full treatment, which, as she mentioned, you can, especially for someone who's got less facial fat, like you need those probes to kind of hold that muscle. That is awesome.
Yes. And they are thin, so you can really isolate. You can either stretch and then start to expand. Your frontalis is the place where you need to really stretch and work on your way. And these are really great and helpful.
I am excited about those. Are they ready to be launched? Are they coming out soon? Are they already out?
They are ready to be launched. They are available on our website, and people are just raving about it. So it's really, really, people love it.
So they won't need, what's interesting is now, would they still put the gel on? or they won't need the gel, or would they put a coat of the gel on and then moisten these with the spritz, or what do you recommend?
I recommend that when you're using cotton tip probes, that you only use the spritzer.
Mhm.
You don't need to use the gel. You can afterwards apply our ATP booster mask.
I brought it out because it's my favorite.
Yes, the ATP booster mask is amazing because it has all of our products have bioactive complex, which is our own proprietary blend. It has a blend of copper and zinc, and it also has, but ATP booster mask particularly is really great because it has a concentration of ergothioneine. It is a mushroom based,
Mhm.
plant based element that helps to naturally boost adenosine triphosphate. So that's why once you're using microcurrent, which is has its benefits of building up the ATP, it's the energy of the skin cells, it's the energy of the muscle tissue that really gets the anti-aging regimen going. And then this boosts it even more. So once you're using cotton tip probes, if you're not slathering it with gel, then you can use this at the end, and then you can apply it, leave it for 15 minutes, let it soak in, massage it out, and then you can wash it.
Perfect, perfect. And they can then finish with your peptide serum, which a
Exactly.
doctor, like, you can tell. I like this. This feels amazing as well. Tell us a little bit about the ingredients in the peptide serum, because I think everyone who's doing the microcurrent services should be finishing with this serum minimum. Is
Yes, yes. Anti-aging peptide serum has copper peptide. So copper is something that naturally starts depleting. We produce copper and it starts depleting as we age. These peptides are plant-based copper peptides that we have in there, and it has maximal 3000, which is a really amazing element. It is nanotechnology based, so it has molecular weight that it's
tiny.
so small that it just absorbs into the skin very quickly, and it is a really great way of replenishing your skin with a lot of peptides, copper. It restructures the collagen and elastin, and it just soaks in, it rehydrates the skin from internally.
And
So
they can. This is their clients can take this home with them, and that is really going to give them that extra, like, wow factor, in between their
exactly.
treatments. A couple other questions. I'm so excited about the new probes. Okay, so a couple other things. I think this is great. I love how this works. I think estheticians are going to be clamoring to add this to their microcurrent service. But I also want to ask some other questions about microcurrent, because we get questions all the time on how to combine microcurrent with other services, and just modalities or injectables, because so often clients are seeing multiple people at one practice. They might come into a practice and see someone for an injection, and then go off and see the esthetician. So I want to find out, how do you combine microcurrent? Let's start first with injectables. So
Yeah.
if a client is getting either Botox or they're getting a filler type of service, where and how are they going to implement or add the microcurrent service?
Absolutely. So I'm so glad you asked because that is one of the common question. MyoLift through microcurrent can help benefit
Oh,
even people who are using the injectables. So if they are doing Botox or any kind of fillers, they have to wait for 2 weeks after their treatment. Many times we even suggest that people should prep their skin prior to getting the Botox and fillers. But if they're having a schedule, then what they do is after 2 weeks, they can get their microcurrent treatment. For fillers, MyoLift is not going to touch anything that has already settled in. It does not touch the fat tissue, it does not touch the fillers. For Botox, the effect is different because Botox is lengthening the muscles and then it's freezing it.
mhm.
There are some benefits of using MyoLift around that area, around those muscles, because it's activating those muscles and it's not going to let them atrophy when the Botox effects runs over. However, it might shorten the how long the Botox lasts. So that's something that they just need to communicate with their clients. it is a really great alternative to Botox. But if your client is looking into weaning out of Botox, or if they are worried about all the atrophy that happens, then this is a great way of working with it.
And they can also, I think I heard you say, they can prep with this. So if a client is coming to the spa to have multiple services, they could get their microcurrent service and then go in the same day, go get an injection. In other words, right before, or so that's okay. It's the
Yes.
afterwards that we're talking about.
Yes, exactly. It's a really great preparation. So if you are getting deep chemical peel, if you are, if I mean, if your clients are going for a really deep chemical peel, or if they're going for micro needling, which is more than a 1 mm, then what you need to do is prep their skin with MyoLift before, and then you apply either chemical peel or micro needle. This is going to help them re-energize their skin and facial muscles to really heal much faster, and their downtime will be reduced. So any of those procedures, the way I describe in general is that there is one area I consider all of those exfoliating treatments, which is going to be done the first. So if your facial treatment entails microdermabrasion, any kind of scrubbing, exfoliation, and things like that, you need to do that first, because now you have more clean skin, something to work with. And then there is any kind of adhesion creating, wound creating treatments, whether it's radio frequency, microneedle, if it is, 0.5 mm, it can be done before microcurrent. So that and nano infusion, all of that can be done prior. So that's the second kind of treatment if you want to package it there. And then at the end is where you use MyoLift microcurrent treatments. It is really a healing element. So once you're done with all of that, you finish up with working on the muscles, working on the skin tissue, because that's where it's going to leave the skin re-energized. It's going to leave the skin reflecting light differently. It is going to help penetrate any kind of serum, any kind of product that you want to infuse more. It is going to help that. And then you can finish off with any moisturizer, SPF, and what have you.
Gotcha. So it's really good to remember that, because not all exfoliation falls into the same category, as you mentioned. So, there are light peels that are very gentle, that are, like a 10% lactic or something that's really gentle. That's completely different than when you're talking about doing a TCA peel. So I like the fact that you were like the milder one. So microdermabrasion, maybe an enzyme exfoliant, those can be done first, because it really does clean the canvas, clear that canvas off, so that everything you do afterwards. And that's, I think a lot of estheticians are already combining that. They're already doing their microderm with their microcurrent, or their dermaplaning with their microcurrent. But it is really good to know that if they do want to do those more aggressive treatments, have radio frequency added, or have injectables done, or things like that, that they know where it goes in there. So once they have done their services, they've come in, maybe they've stacked a couple modalities, and now they go home to heal. We know that they're going to heal a little bit better and a little bit more quickly, because their skin is going to be functioning at optimal levels, because of the fact that we've put great ingredients in it. They've had microcurrent. Now, when would you say they come back? How long would they wait before they come back? And because they've had a little bit more aggressive treatment, it's not just microcurrent. So what time frame would you give them?
I would give them a couple of weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks is really great when they can come back and get their finishing treatments, or another MyoLift treatment, because that is going to help them now with that healed skin to work on re-energizing, leaving the ATP. And it is like cumulative. You will start noticing results. There is no other modality that works on the muscles, on the sagging skin, on having any kind of fine lines or wrinkles, that kind of helps to tighten up. So that is going to be really helpful.
And that it brings me to one of the questions I haven't asked yet, but I really wanted to. When clients have microcurrent, and I will tell you, I held this up earlier because I love this. I mean, I know you know that, but you have these really great masks that make it so easy, at least for someone like me that is always multitasking. I mean, I'm always trying to do 20 things at once, and this allows me to be giving myself a treatment. So when you're in the treatment room, it still allows you to do hand services or décolleté treatment. They can be actually getting microcurrent services, so to speak. Um,
Exactly.
are these sellable to the clients, or are you keeping these only in the treatment room? I forgot to ask you that earlier. Can the esthetician sell them this if they're using the QT?
That's a really great question. Yes, this can be attached to QT. This can be a home treatment. In fact, even if you're giving this in your own facial treatment, this is a single person use. It cannot be sanitized.
Correct.
So you want to sell it and package it with your client so that you put their name here, or you somehow
That's a good
keep
point.
it for them only, for their use only, and then it can be used multiple times, and you just peel it off, and it is going to keep up the treatment. You are giving them your hands free. If they're having any kind of sheet mask, this is going to be additionally beneficial because now it's going to penetrate and it will work on delivering the current all throughout the face.
Oh,
And
I'm doing that tonight, Pooja. You just gave me a new plan for tonight. Thank you.
yes.
Um, well, one of the original questions I was going to ask is, so when they're getting microcurrent, how do you explain to the client the actual lifting effect? I know when I get microcurrent treatments or give or whatnot, the skin just has that, it's up, so to speak. Help
Yes.
help the esthetician explain that to the client as to what it does and how it works in a way that they can go, ah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yes, absolutely. So when you are working with any of the treatments and when you are working on the muscles, I will explain you first in the professional side that you're working with the insertion and origin, and you are replenishing the muscles with a lot of ATP. You are building that up. You are shortening those muscles. And so you are re energizing the muscles and the skin with a lot of that
Activity.
ATP element. So it is going to help push the muscles even tighter. It tones up the muscles. It is building a lot of nutrients, and that is something that you get in our gels as well. There's a lot of bioactive complex, and there are 12 different kinds of minerals. So you are penetrating those, and that when it is finished, people will notice that that skin is so much tighter, so much lifted, that you cannot do. You are replacing your facial massage. You have done a lot of blood circulation, so they will have a nice hue to their skin, and the lifting effect is mostly because you are working on the muscles to shorten and tighten. But some of the muscles, like the frown lines, the crow feet, they are already tightened up because of overuse, because we are using it in the expressions. So you want to relax them, you
Yeah.
want to lengthen them, and you are getting that very scientific treatment where you are delivering this message to the muscles to be in a shorter, tighter way, and stay there. And that's the reason that they get all those tightening without getting into a lot of
It's messaging for the cells, it's activation, it's bringing things back alive into the skin and doing what is kind of counterbalancing what it's been doing for a while. So if it's been coming down, it lifts it up. If it's been squinching, it pulls it out. So that's a really good way for estheticians to be able to explain to their clients, oh, this is how it works. If you're concerned about this or you're concerned about this, microcurrents is going to make this change. So I think that's really important, to share with them as well.
absolutely.
Before we go, because we can't forget this, you mentioned, and we talked about it ever so briefly, you do have some pretty phenomenal products. And I know so often we do talk about the MyoLift, and we talk about the QT, and we talk about the MD, and we even talk about the mask. But I think it's really important to make sure that estheticians know that you have a plethora of gels that they can actually use in their practice for specific skin types. I mean, my go-to is always this one, just because I feel like as a person who's getting older, I need the ATP booster mask. But I will even do microcurrent with this mask as well. But you've got gel. So let's talk, and then we cannot forget this, because the first couple times I did treatments without this, I felt I was just adding so much more. With this, I was blown away with how much product I could save in the jars. And that's so important for estheticians to know. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Now that we are stepping into summer, your client's skin is going to be so dehydrated, and you will notice that even more. So once you have done the exfoliation and everything, if you replenish it with this spritzer, it is going to soak in that hydration. It has a lot of hyaluronic acid. It is going to soak in, and it will rehydrate the skin so that it doesn't soak in a lot of the gel. The gels are all very natural and chemical free. They are all made of great ingredients, because we wanted this to become more of a treatment, facial therapy in itself. And so these gels are replenished with copper, with peptides, with bioactive complexes, 12 different kind of minerals. So when you have, for example, a Restore gel, it also has kelp and seaweed, and it is very activating. So people will notice, and you will notice that their skin gets hydrated. It is a really great way of getting the current through the skin, but it's also pushing some of those nutrients into the skin. If your client is extremely sensitive, and if they are allergic to kelp or any kind of seaweed, then we have designed another product, and that is Renew. Renew is more of the calming. It has green tea extract. It has ginkgo biloba and also calendula. So it is very calming, and it does not have any kind of seaweed, but it is more of a relaxing kind of gel.
So really good. That's going to be really good for your sensitive skin types, or maybe a first-time client who you're not really sure how they're going to respond to something. So it's a gentle version.
Yes, it is a very gentle version, but it also has copper, zinc, and our collagen. So it will bring those nutrients again back into the skin. It will help your client skin to replenish and boost with hydration while it is working on their ATP.
Well, that is good to know, because a lot of times clients will be on the sensitive side, and it's nice that you have that back bar. So I think estheticians who are using microcurrent should have all of these gels available to them. So let's go over the last two products so that everybody has the full picture of what they can put on their back bar. So the last one is Replenish, as far as the gels go, right?
Replenish is the spritzer.
Oh,
So we have Restore, we have Renew.
Restore. I was thinking of Restore. Renew, Restore, and you have the ATP.
ATP, yes.
Gotcha. And those are the three gels. When I say gel, they're in the jar. They're a little bit thicker. They can use them as their slip as well. But what I like, can they use them all as masks? I know the ATP can be used as a mask after microcurrent.
I wouldn't put Restore and Renew as a mask per se, because they are more activating. And so it is something that you work with the MyoLift microcurrent treatment. But ATP booster mask can definitely be used as a mask. We also have the EGF mask, which is really great.
That's newer too.
Yes, yes. This is our restorative sheet mask. It has EGF. EGF is epidermal growth factor. It is really, really a complex. And this is the only sheet mask that we incorporated, because, and even though it is not 100% full disclosure, this is not 100% natural ingredients. It has chemical-based products, but they are clean. And these chemical-based products are really going to enhance the growth factor. It is something that helps in cell regeneration. So that is the reason we saw a huge benefit into the skin and into the anti-aging regimen that you want to create for your clients. It comes with tiny electrodes that you can put along with the mask, the sheet mask, and it just tingles a little bit, and it feels like it is getting pushed in, and it's really amazing. After you're done with it, the skin is so well hydrated with EGF.
And they can add that to any of their facial services as an add-on. Maybe they don't have time to do a full microcurrent treatment, but they can add this as an enhancement, like an EGF enhancement. I think that's a great idea. Will it work? Can you connect the QT to that?
Yes, you can.
Ooh.
It
Oh,
is amazing to retail it along with the QT, and they
ah.
can start that as their starting point for their treatments at home.
I love it. So, we covered so many things in this, and I'm so happy that you have the probes. I think they're going to be a huge success. So, we talked a little bit about the brand new probes that 7E has, which is really, really good for getting in there and doing some fine muscle work. Yeah, Pooja was talking earlier about when you've got clients that don't have as much fat on their face, these are ideal for that fine tuning work. So, I think this is exciting. We did an overview of the products and we talked about the machines a little bit. So, Pooja, thank you for sharing all of this information about microcurrent with us today. And we are super excited to have you in a brand highlight as well as on the Esthetician Connection website. So, I appreciate everybody watching. And Pooja, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Sheri, for having us and for doing this phenomenal work. I think the estheticians appreciate what you bring to the table, and we really love you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye, Pooja.
Bye. Thanks.